Good afternoon, and welcome to the right direction. This week in the news, there's so much happening, but I got my special guest with me, Josephine. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Great, great. I don't know how much you have been, how your week has been, or how much you've been looking at the news this week. Mine has been, you know, uh, uh, y-
Same.
same, right?
Yeah. It's just a lot happening on the news at the moment. The war, the emotional trauma, the children.
Mm,
It's just, was it Wednesday morning? And I like to put on the news while dressing up for work.
yeah.
And I saw when a lady, she came on and she was just narrating how her kids were hiding in the safe room, and
Yes.
it was broken into, and they took the little boy who is about 12,
Yeah.
and the little boy shouted and said, "Don't take me away, I'm only just 12, I'm too young to be taken
In a
away,"
way.
and that just hit me. Tears ran. I was so sad throughout
Oh,
that day,
I,
so I mean, all I could do is just pray that they're safe
safe.
and stuff. So
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
So the week has really, really
To,
been not a good one for me,
um,
based on, the war
the
and the
war.
innocent children that's been taken away, and yeah.
Sorry to hear. I wish I do feel, the war is something that
Yeah.
nobody wants and innocent people. And
Mm.
even if like they say, it may look like you don't have a horse in the race,
Mm-hmm.
but you want peace to
Yes.
reign. And my week has been bad for various reasons, but I won't go into that. Josephine's reason outweighs my reasons. But let's
Mm-hmm.
go into something. In the news this week, there was a Nigerian lawyer, and she was 26, and she committed suicide. And I started to ask myself, what do we know about this? What do we know about how soft, we were not raised like this, we were raised resilience.
Yeah.
So I know you have early learning, children, what we should do, especially when we're here.
Mm-hmm.
So I brought you here to because you can compare Nigerian upbringing and bringing up children in this country. What is it that we're not doing in this country from an early age, to attach more to our children? This situation now, like commit suicide, is new to us.
Yeah.
So
I
what?
mean, as as parents, we are all unique in our own ways.
Yes.
You are unique in a way you bring up yours. I'm unique in a way that I bring up mine. In an early age, is always very paramount, to nurture your children. And why nurturing them over those early years, you have to understand who they are. you know it might well be that as they're growing, maybe a child of 5, you know that this particular child is always, wanting to play alone, or not wanting to speak to anyone and stuff like that. So those are the early signs
Yes.
that you would easily pick up to say, I hope my child is all right, because I don't understand why he or she just likes to play alone. They don't come to me, or he doesn't play with his brothers
Peers
and
and stuff.
sisters
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So it has to be picked up from an early age. And now, if that particular 5-year-old grows into being maybe a teenager, you will see that trait still being there, to just be isolated from mom,
I
from
I,
dad.
I have a phrase. I think sometimes, if you, like you were saying,
Mm,
they become like strange adults,
that's right.
but we don't know how to
That's right. Yes,
explain.
yes,
So,
yes.
but you started from age 5, and you
Mm,
said nurturing. What
mm.
does nurturing involve? Like when you say nurture?
Okay. The first thing is you have to listen to you. No matter how young that child is, you have to listen to your child. A 5-year-old comes back from school trying to tell you, as a dad or as a mom, how his day has been in school.
Yeah.
And then you, as a parent, you might say, okay, that's fine. Mom is busy now. Daddy is busy now. We'll talk about it later. You're damaging that child. The following day, the child comes back to you. You say the same thing. The third time, he would not. He would just rather just lock up and stay there and act out by drawing.
But just here, I'm very very appreciative for having you
Mm,
here. We Nigerians, come from the block, and I know what you've said, but we we literally are working. We literally are coming through the door.
That's
You understand?
fine.
We literally have not settled down. But I can see where you're going, that the children, their peers, get this sort of attention.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to put out more if we can.
Yes, 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 yes.
And
It is very important for us to create time for our children to listen, no matter how busy you are.
okay,
No matter how busy you are, you have to create that time. There is what they call bonding time. You come back from work, there's nothing wrong in you asking your child, how was school today? Who are your friends? Who did you play with? Because for some reasons, that child might be going through neglect in school. You wouldn't know, where everybody is playing together and then no one wants to play with him. He will speak to the teacher. The teacher will be like, "Oh, you're just being, you're just assuming things now. Go and play with John. Go and play with Mark." And this child is like, "Why is nobody listening to me?" And then the child comes home now, trying to talk to you as a parent. You're like, "Oh, mommy is busy right now. We'll talk about it later. Let's talk about it later. Let's talk about it later." There's never a later. You have to be attentive to the emotions of your child. It's very important, because if you don't, there is a damage that would cause that child. As that child grows,
keeps growing up.
yes, as that child grows, he or she will begin to keep secrets. He or she will begin to move with, bad company that you don't even know about. And then at the time you have now realized to say, "Oh, you know what? Notice this boy is always locking himself up in the room. I wonder what he's doing and everything." It's too late.
Okay. I really, I have to let you learn, because I see this a lot. Now, that is the first sign. Make time,
Yes.
and having you here, this is a session for parents, especially we who grew up in
Yeah.
Nigeria, especially the news we had this week. We need more understanding. What is another point that you've seen a difference with Nigerian parenting, and what we need to do from early age with our children here?
Okay. There are other ways, I am from Nigeria, and my parents, they did spare the rod.
Yes.
But here, you can't spare the rod.
Okay.
You can't even yell at a child here. There are ways that you speak to the child, because I will take you through the abuses.
Okay.
Yes, you will have the physical abuse, where when you spare the rod, you leave marks on the child. And then you have the emotional abuse, where you are constantly shouting at that child and putting the child down. That's emotional abuse. And then you have neglect, where all you do is walk, walk, walk. Nobody is helping the child with the homework. The child is being neglected. He or she does not even know what to eat. You give the child the key to say, "Okay, when you get home, just put something in the microwave," and all of that. There is no routine. His uniform is not washed. The uniform he wore on Monday is still what he's wearing on Thursday. His hair is not combed. He's always being very dirty. He's always hungry when he's in school, asking people for food, or even kind of like not even bringing anything to school, because you were just engrossed in you going to work.
Can I ask? Can
Yeah.
I just ask? Do Nigerian parents actually, do this in this country, work and because of where we come from? I'm saying we could be guilty of
Our
some of
parent, we,
those.
Nigerian parents, I mean, all parents, yes, is not our intention. No parent will sit down and say, "I want to intentionally hurt my child."
Yeah.
The hustle and bustle of London can make you just forget certain things.
Yes.
Do you understand? However, but if you plan, if you have a routine in place, maybe dad goes to work at night, and then you go, when that comes, he takes over, and then you go during the day, you could skate through it like that. But in a situation whereby you have both parents are working, maybe you are a doctor now, and then the wife is a nurse, and then you now have probably a nanny who you would pay to pick up the kids from school, and they are in the nanny's place from morning till night. And then in nighttime, you pick them up when you finish your shift and everything. There's no routine.
So, if I like the example you've made. We have so many Nigerian parents in middle class, and status. Are we? uh, and you have to talk, because this is what the community needs at
Yeah.
this point. We need to improve on this. Even the ones that are high status in the community, they are also guilty of this, because the way you are saying it, this needs to be done by the parents, if it
Mm.
can be.
Mm-hmm.
Even if somebody else is substituting, they won't. I don't see any nanny reading books and asking this, because that's
Yeah.
not their job.
Yeah.
Their
Yeah.
job is to pick up the kid.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Parents, hope you're listed. Josephine, please carry on. Don't let me stop you.
Yeah. So, I mean, part of that would be you being there for your children. Um, be a good listener. Create time for a leisure, and also you have to be a good role model, because you can't tell your child not to do this. Is one rule for the child and then another for you. If you set boundaries, if you set rules, you have to make sure you are following the rules. I'll give you an example. You're a dad, tell you speak to your children against smoking and everything, and then when you're with your friends,
You're
you're
smoking,
smoking.
yes. Yeah.
Obviously, I do remember there was a particular incident that was brought to our attention, my profession, and this particular child did say that he was only just 5. So what he did was he went and he rolled, I don't know, he rolled a piece of paper and he was pretending to smoke because he was trying to act out.
He was 5 years
Yeah, he
old.
was 5 years. He was telling everyone, my dad smokes like this. My dad smokes like this. So I'm the safeguarding lead officer for that organization. So it was brought to my attention and said, "Oh, this child is is always doing it. This is not the first time. It's not the second time. It's not the third time. He's always saying that is how dad does it. Dad is always." So what I did was I had a meeting. I called mom and daddy in and I said, "This is the situation of things." And dad was really shocked. Dad did confirm to say yes, he does it
Mm-hmm.
at home. So I now spoke to dad. I said, even if, I mean, I'm not in any position to tell you don't smoke or smoke,
Yeah.
but even if you want to do it, it's best to do it where the child does not see you. Because now, while he's playing at school, he's rolling papers and he's holding it and he's telling everyone, this is what daddy
It
does at
does.
home. This is how my daddy smokes.
It's important, not just what you say, what you do.
What you do. So, hence the reason why I said being a good role model. So, whatever rules you're setting for your child, yes, you have to make sure you're
You
following
follow the
it.
rules. Yeah.
Follow those rules and make sure, even when you're driving, we know sometimes, it could be frustrating.
Yeah.
You're rushing to work and then someone just comes from nowhere and then using F word and you're upset, you're angry. That child is going to act that out,
Pick up. Pick up that.
pick up.
Yeah.
So being a role model is very, very important when we are
That's
actually, parenting children. And also we have to understand the processes, the systems, the policies, that governs
but then
this Western world that we
uh,
live in. Do you
the
understand?
only thing I wanted to
Yeah.
say to you was, in your profession,
Mm.
um, as diasporans as we are, is there anywhere they're meeting us in the middle? Because you see, we don't have the support system to provide that for
Mm.
our children. Sometimes we may think that we do our best. We go to work. We go to 2 jobs. We can
Yeah.
buy 300 pounds trainers.
Mm.
We can do the things that make them happy. We cannot provide those things. But within your profession, is there any mechanism for us, or you are just asking us to like the things you're talking about are more important than the things we're doing?
I mean, there are parenting classes that parents can easily, register on and go. In my profession, I speak to parents all the time and I refer them to go to parenting class, because sometimes it becomes really, really difficult for the parents to the extent that mental well-being sets in.
Yeah,
They are not able to now look after their child.
yeah,
That is where, the whistle blowing, and then we have to call the MASH team to
yeah.
come involved. MASH, I will say what MASH is a multi-agency safeguarding hub, is MASH
But
for put together. It's kind of like different professionals coming under one umbrella to safeguard the child.
child,
If a child or if a mom or a parent or a dad cannot is mentally not there to look after the child, or if there's maybe domestic violence or sexual, it could be anything out of those four abuse that I mentioned to
Yeah.
you earlier on. And then that's where they come in, and then we all sit down and now talk about the welfare. What will be safe for this child? Should the child go for fostering? Should we look for another home, safer home for the child?
Yeah.
So that's where all of that comes in. But nobody prays for that, for
How
your child to be taken away from you.
how disappointed are you
Do you
when you see
understand?
that
Because
happen?
if you look at it, it's kind of like catch 22. You are a parent, you're trying to make ends meet.
Yeah.
You want the best for
Yeah.
your child.
Yeah.
You know, you have to work. If you don't work, how much benefit are you going to get? You have the rent piling up. So it's kind of like
You
juggling everything. And then you're forgetting about yourself. Who now looks after you?
so I was coming to that to say you're asking the parents, because in the balance of things you're asking the parents to prioritize
Mm,
and still because it's more detrimental if the child doesn't have this kind of support
yeah,
rather than if it's us
yeah,
that doesn't have this
mm,
type of support. And I thank you for it. I
yeah,
think otherwise we will be struggling because we are also
exactly.
human beings.
Yes.
Josephine, I'll let you close off, and since you're talking, talk to the parents how the priorities must change.
Mm.
So I'll let you go.
I mean, to all my parents out there, we're all very, unique.
The Nigerian ones.
Yes, and my Nigerian parents don't struggle alone. There are professionals out there that you could speak to. As I always say, mental health is real, because if you are not there, who is going to be there for the children? We know we want the best for them, but we need to be right as well. We need to know where to go to get help in order for us to look after our children, and our children, our first priority. Also, with the parenting classes is online. You could go there. I will leave list. I will leave that link with you,
Yes,
where
please.
parents can go and
Yes. Yeah.
just listen. There are a lot of signposting that they could signpost themselves to, if at all they need to speak to somebody about their child. And even we have children also with what's it called, special educational needs as well.
Okay.
That is a big thing, and is difficult as well.
Yeah.
I had one of my parents, she came, and she's a Nigerian parent, young girl. She said, my child wasn't like this when he was born. I don't know what happened. I think someone has done something and stuff. So I told her, I took her into my office and I gave her assurance. I said, don't worry, that is why we are here. We are here to help you. We'll give you all the support. All the support there is, we would give it to you. And that child now is picking up, because when the child started, he doesn't play with anybody. He throws things. He was very aggressive. He's not even aware of danger. And my staff were like, oh, but I think this child will need one-to-one. I said, no, he doesn't need one-to-one. If we have all hands on deck to make sure and understand that child, put everything in place, object of reference, because he's not, he has a social communication
Yeah.
difficulties. So if we have to put all those in place, then now he's fine.
Oh,
I
that's
know
very
it's a
nice.
process, but he's getting there. Mom is fine. I ask mom every time, how are you? If you feel down, you could speak to us, or there are places I could signpost you to go get help and everything. But she's fine. And she said she's actually seen some results
Yeah.
from when this child started with us and now,
Wow.
you know.
Thank you
So
very much. Nigerian parents at home, professionals, Josephine, I really thank you. We're learning. One of the reasons we do this show is to better our life. If you have something to contribute, like Josephine, and we need to learn from in other aspects, children growing up, law, and other things in this country, please give us a call, 07943 and you come on the show. Josephine,
yeah,
thank you
thank you
very
for
much.
having me, and I
Thank you.
hope you enjoyed every bit of it.
You've tried.